Most people doing upper body work in the gym are doing way too much. Too many exercises, too many sets, too many sessions, and still not getting the upper body they're after. And I get it, because I was exactly the same. 6 days a week, dedicated muscle group days, chest on Monday, arms on Wednesday, the whole thing. And after years of that, I had a decent amount of muscle, but my upper body didn't look the way I wanted it to. So here's what I do when I'm pushed for time and just want to get in, do what works, and get out. 4 exercises. And in this video, I'm going to show you which 4, exactly why I picked them over everything else, and how to put them together so your upper body actually starts changing without spending hours in the gym doing it. I've been a personal trainer for 11 years and trained myself for over 14 years. And the clearest way I can show you why 4 is genuinely enough starts with what I was doing for years before I figured this out, and show you why less is actually more here. I need to tell you what my upper body training looked like before, because I'd be surprised if it doesn't sound pretty familiar. For years, I treated upper body training the way most people do. Chest on Monday, back on a Tuesday, shoulders somewhere within the week, arms tacked on at the end of everything, loads of exercises, loads of volume, always chasing the pump, and assuming more meant better. And the honest truth is, it sort of worked. I built muscle, but my upper body had gaps that just doing more wasn't fixing. My shoulders looked decent from the front, but flat from the side. My arms did have size, but lacked definition. My back was getting trained, but not in the way that actually made it look good. And I kept adding exercises, thinking the answer was more, when actually the answer was completely different. And the shift happened when I started thinking about what each exercise was actually doing, rather than just doing more of everything. And then I realized that most of what I was doing was overlapping, basically doing the same thing twice with a different name in it. But 4 exercises done properly covers everything. 15 done badly leaves the same gaps every week. So here's what I landed on. And by the way, these 4 exercises and the complete structure around them are built into the Softer Lean program in the description. 3 full body sessions a week, built for people who don't have much time. It's completely free. So the first exercise is dumbbell press, the foundation of upper body pushing, and the first exercise I'd keep if I had to cut everything else down. And the reason I use dumbbells rather than a barbell is the range of motion. With a barbell, your hands are fixed and the bar hits your chest before the pec is fully stretched. With dumbbells, your hands can travel further down and out, which means you get a deeper stretch at the bottom. And the bottom of the movement is where the most growth happens. I do this on a slight incline, around 30 to 45 degrees, which puts more of the work through the upper chest. Most people go too steep and end up doing more of a shoulder press without really realizing it. So keep the angle low, but not too low, because then it's basically just a flat bench. Lower the dumbbells all the way down until you feel a massive stretch across the chest. Hold it for a split second and then press back up. And the key thing here isn't the weight, it's the range of motion and actually feeling the pecs doing the work. If you're cutting the range of motion short to handle the load, drop the weight and do it properly. You'll actually get more from it, I promise. And then we move on to exercise 2, which is arguably the gold standard, or should be for most people, which is pull-ups. If I could only do one pull-in exercise for the rest of my life, it would definitely be pull-ups. Nothing else builds the back and the biceps in the way the pull-ups do when they're done properly. And properly is the bit most people skip. Most people do pull-ups by getting the chin over the bar and then just saying it's done. But the most important part of the movement is the one at the bottom, the full stretch position all the way, where your back is completely opened out. Most people rush through this, don't get full extension at the bottom, and end up doing a partial rep that takes most of the work off the back. You want full range all the way down to straight arms at the bottom. Pull until your chin's above the bar. If you can't do body weight yet, don't worry. Use a band or a cable assisted machine, but get the full range of motion. If you can do 15 clean ones, start adding some weight. And the back responds way better to progressive overload on this movement, and it's genuinely one of the best things you can do for how your upper body looks from pretty much any angle. And it just looks great to be able to do body weight pull-ups as well, or especially if you're doing weighted pull-ups. So set that as a goal. And now we move on to exercise 3, which may not be the one you're thinking about, which are lateral raises. And this is the one that changes how your upper body looks from pretty much every angle as well. And the one most people either skip or just do really badly, that it does almost nothing. So the side heads of the shoulder are what creates the width, not just from the front, but from the side and from behind. Most shoulder training hits the front delt through the pressing movements, which means people look fine from straight on, but flat everywhere else. So the lateral raises fixes this directly. But the thing most people get completely wrong is the movement itself. They either swing the weight up using momentum, shrug at the top, and bring it back down quickly. None of that is actually doing much. You want a slight forward lean, elbows leading rather than the hands, slow and controlled on the way down. The lowering phase is where a lot of the actual work happens, and most people completely skip it. I also find doing these on an incline bench, so lying on your side, gives a way better range of motion and makes it harder to cheat. Worth trying if you've been doing them standing and not really feeling much. Or just do an incline lateral raise, similar to an incline chest press, around 45 degrees, all the way down with the dumbbells and just above shoulder height at the top. You will need to go lighter on this, but you really feel the side delts burning at the end. And the next exercise is the one most people get completely wrong when it comes to training arms, and that one is tricep extension. The tricep makes up around 2/3 of the upper arm. Most people spend the majority of the arm training on biceps, which make up the other third, and then wonder why their arms don't look the way they want. The tricep extension actually works the tricep through its full range in a way pressing just doesn't. So pressing movements do work the tricep, but with the arm at a fixed angle. The extension puts it in a stretch position and loads it there, which is where most of the growth happens. Personally, I do overhead extensions, cables or dumbbells. Both of them work because the overhead position stretches the tricep in a way the push down just doesn't fully reach. And the biggest part of the tricep is the one that gives the arm that full thick look from pretty much every angle. If you're only doing push downs, you're missing it. Control the movement on the way down, full stretch at the top, squeeze at the bottom. 3 sets of this done properly will do way more for your arms than 5 sets of bicep curls every session. And one of the other reasons I've chosen triceps as the 4th exercise is because if you're doing pull-ups, you're already getting a bit of bicep work anyway. And here's the thing worth being clear about before I explain the logic. These aren't the only 4 exercises I ever do. When I've got more time, I'll add direct bicep work, dips, face pulls, whatever fits what I'm working on at that point. But if I've only got 40 minutes and I'm training upper body, or I'm traveling, or I just want to get in and get out with the most effective session possible, these are the 4 I always come back to. They cover everything that matters and nothing gets missed. And here's why specifically. Each one hits a different angle and a different part of the upper body. The dumbbell press covers the chest with a stretch you just can't get from a barbell. Pull-ups handle vertical pulling and build the back, and the way rows don't alone, as well as I said before, they also hit the biceps. Lateral raises fill the gap that all press and work leaves, which are the shoulders from the side. And the tricep extension directly targets the part of the arm that makes the biggest visual difference and gets the least work from everything else. Between the 4 of them, chest, back, shoulders, from every angle, arms properly loaded, the upper body is pretty much covered. Everything else is either a variation of one of these or a less efficient way of doing the same thing. And by the way, the Softer Lean program in the description has this all built out. 3 full body sessions, progressive overload tracked, all under 1 hour. So here's how to put it together. So in terms of actually running this, most of the time you don't do all 4 in one session unless you really don't have much time or you're traveling, etc. The majority of the time, these fit into the 3 session structure I use spread across the week, so each one gets trained with enough frequency to actually produce a result. Session A might have the dumbbell press and with pull-ups alongside it with some low body work. Session B has the lateral raises and the tricep extensions with maybe some abs or more low body work, and alternate across the week, and every exercise or muscle gets hit at least twice a week across the block without any session running over an hour. 3 to 4 sets per exercise, 10 to 15 reps per set, and the same rule that applies everywhere else applies here. The weight in your workout tracker needs to be going up over time. Not every session, not by a lot, but consistently trending upwards. That is pretty much progressive overload, and it tells the body keep adapting. Cash, my client here, had been training for years with the right exercises, but the weight hadn't moved in months. He was doing the same dumbbells, the same reps, and it was pretty much the same result. Once we applied progressive overload, we tracked everything. His upper body started changing in a way it hadn't done in years, and he was someone who was coming up to 40 years old. But here's what most people find once the training is sorted and the upper body is actually developing. The thing that determines how visible all that work is has nothing to do with the training itself. The body composition underneath is what makes the difference between a physique that looks like it's been trained and the one that actually looks lean and athletic. And there's one specific thing that determines how quickly it shifts, even when the training is completely right. And I've got a video that covers exactly what that is somewhere over here, so watch it next.